We're going to get into part 5. We have 9 games. We have the Friday games with some more Saturday here, and that'll get us within with the 47 games. That'll get us to 38 when we finish with this. We'll have 9 more for tomorrow. We'll get you our 9 here for today. Before we get to just a couple things, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Free college football picks updated all season long. Free picks every day from all the major sports. We also have NFL, NBA. We also have NHL, European football, and more. It's a good time to subscribe. And also, if you would support our channel, give us that thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it. Then visit Tony'sPicks.com. We're a multi-capper site showcasing top cappers in our industry. Click the link to the hot cappers to get signed up to a long-term pass. Guys like Ramon, who's been hot. Ben has been hot. Hollywood Sam. We also have Nick and Paula Garotas. Click the links, get signed up. Also, Tiffany. If you scroll, you'll find the latest premium picks in the center of the page. Our best bets are up as well. We've got our $15 premium pick. It's our promotional pick. Each capper can submit one of their premium plays from the card, make it a $15 premium pick. Some of them want to make a good impression here with best bets at 15. 3 packs as well. And of course, if you're looking for the picks a la carte, you can shop here on our pick ticker, and each individual play there for you as well, and even more. Promo code TonyT saves you 20% off all premium pick packages. Access our page by clicking the link in the description. Click the All Cappers tab and get signed up. Also, love to hear from you guys, so post your picks in the comments below. And you can apply as a capper over at Tony'sPicks.com footer section. And again, our podcast, and every pick's in podcast form. So if you can't hear the video, watch the video, you're driving, you're walking, a dog, or the gym, every pick is in podcast form. Tony's Picks podcast available on all major platforms. All right, let's get this one started. Louisiana Tech versus FIU college football pick. This one is on Friday. All right, we got Louisiana Tech. They fall to 2-5 after that 42-41 home overtime defeat to Rice. Bulldogs gained 373 yards of offense in the loss, 144 of it rushing on 39 carries. They did surrender 4 sacks, had a +2 turnover margin. Defensively, the Bulldogs gave up nearly 6 yards of carry on the ground with 208 yards passing on 27 attempts. Parker McNeil will be a game-time decision after leaving the game against Rice with an injury. On the year, he is completing 60% of his passes, 15 touchdowns, 7 picks, 9 yards per attempt. The backup is Downing. He came in and was injured. Now, Downing may miss the remainder of the season, so third-string Landry Liddy, a freshman, he went 3 of 6 for 38 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6.3 yards per attempt. FIU moved to 3-4. A 34-15 road win at Charlotte. Team posted 453 yards with 147 rushing on 43 carries. Defensively, the Golden Panthers held the 49ers run game to just over 2 yards per attempt with 277 passing yards on 43 attempts. Gunnar Holmberg expected to play after missing all but 1 game this year. Luke transfer in 2021 completed 67% of his passes, 7 touchdowns, 9 picks, and 7.3 yards per attempt. That was a season ago. Louisiana Tech defense in the past 3 conference games, alarming here, giving up 534 yards, 7.3 yards per attempt. You know, FIU gets their quarterback back, and Louisiana Tech could be utilizing a third-string freshman. Play here will be FIU at +6.5. East Carolina and BYU college football pick. This one goes off here on Friday. East Carolina sits at 5-3 after their 34-13 home win at UCF. Pirates posted 458 yards with 147 on the ground on 33 carries. Defensively, they held the Knights' run game to just over 4 yards per attempt and 296 passing yards on 37 attempts. ECU had 4 sacks and +4 turnover margin. Holton Ahlers, an AAC high 83% completions, 311 yards, 8.6 yards per attempt in the win. Ahlers against the AAC is completing 72% of his passes, 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 8.3 yards per attempt. BYU moves to 4-4, a 41-14 road defeat at Liberty. 3 straight losses by the Cougars. The team posted season low 258 yards, 71 on the ground on 16 rushing attempts. On defense, BYU allowed 547 yards to the Flames, 300 rushing on 48 attempts. They also gave up 247 passing yards on 29 attempts. Jaron Hall, season lows here, 47% completions, 187 yards, 5.5 yards per attempt on the season. Hall, 65% completion rate. He's got 19 touchdowns, 3 picks, 8 yards per attempt. Now on the road, the Pirates, 376 passing yards, they're averaging, and BYU 314 passing yards at home. Past 3 games, BYU averaging 562 yards, and ECU here 351 yards passing, 9.7 yards per pass attempt. The play here will be East Carolina and BYU over 63.5. Missouri versus South Carolina college football pick. This one goes off here on Saturday. Missouri improved to 3-4 after their 17-14 home win at Vanderbilt. Tigers gained 308 yards with 97 rushing on 40 attempts in the win. They limited the Commodores on the ground with 2 yards per rush and surrendered 242 passing yards on 45 attempts. Brady Cook, 68% completions in the win, 211 yards, 8.4 yards per attempt on the season, a completion rate of 65%, 6 touchdowns, 7 picks, 7.3 yards per attempt. South Carolina improved to 5-2, a 30-24 home win at Texas A&M. Gamecocks win despite season low here, 286 yards, 118 rushing on 35 carries. South Carolina limited the Aggies on the ground and allowed 269 passing yards on 47 attempts. Spencer Rattler, season low here, 48% completions, 6.7 yards per attempt. Tigers' point production is the issue here. Recent quality wins by the Gamecocks at Texas A&M and on the road to Kentucky. Player will be South Carolina at -3.5. Colorado State and Boise State college football pick. This one goes off on Saturday. Colorado State improved to 2-5 after their 17-13 home win to Hawaii. Rams a season high, 386 yards, 209 rushing on 40 carries. On defense, CSU limited the Warriors' ground attack to under 4 yards per rush and 173 passing yards on 30 attempts. Clay Millen completed 71% in the win, 7.4 yards per attempt. Season 8, the freshman, 73% completions, 7.3 yards per attempt. Boise State improves to 5-2 after their 19-14 road win at Air Force. Broncos gained only 322 yards in victory, 115 of them rushing on 40 carries. Defensively, they limited the Air Force ground attack to 3.5 yards a carry and 96 passing yards on 9 attempts. Taylon Green, 67% completions, season high, 8.6 yards per attempt, but 1 pick. Now, Green is a running style quarterback on the season. Green, 62% completions, 2 touchdowns, 4 picks, 6.7 yards per attempt. Respect the defensive performance by Colorado State in their 4-point home loss to Utah State. The play here will be Colorado State at +27.5. Coastal Carolina and Marshall college football pick Saturday. Coastal Carolina fell to 6-1 after their 49-21 home defeat to Old Dominion. Chanticleers produced 454 yards, but 88 on the ground on 42 attempts. Defensively, Coastal Carolina gave up 525 yards with 324 rushing on 31 carries. Now, Grayson McCall, season high 76% completion rate, 358 yards, 3 touchdowns, 10.5 yards per attempt. On the season, McCall, a 70% completion rate, 18 touchdowns a pick, 10 yards per attempt. Now, Marshall, 4-3. They get a 26-12 road win at James Madison. Thurman Hurd, 326 yards of offense with 4 yards per rush. They limited the Duke's ground game, allowed only 164 yards passing on 35 attempts. Freshman Cam Launcher completed 48%, a touchdown, 2 picks, 5.1 yards per attempt. Now, Columbia was scratched after warm-ups with an injury last week. Season 8, the Texas Tech transfer, 73% completion rate, 7.4 yards per attempt. Marshall quarterback situation concerning. Chanticleers, McCall, another great season play here. Coastal Carolina +2.5. UAB and FAU college football pick. This one is on Saturday. UAB falls to 4-3 after 20-17 road defeat at Western Kentucky. Blazers a season low, 324 yards, 228 rushing on 39 carries. Defensively, they limited Western Kentucky's passing attack but allowed nearly 6 yards a carry on the ground. Quarterback DeAndre Hopkins exited the game last week with a concussion. Jacob Zeno in relief completed only 30%, 3.3 yards per attempt. In mop-up action last season, the Baylor transfer, a 41% completion rate, 4.4 yards per attempt. FAU 3-5 after their 24-21 road defeat at UTEP. Owls gained 329 yards with 165 rushing on 38 carries. Defensively, they allowed UTEP to run for nearly 6 yards a carry, 179 passing yards on 26 attempts. N'Kosi Perry, 60% completion in defeat, 164 yards passing, 8.2 yards per attempt. On the year, Perry, 56% completions, 17 touchdowns, 5 picks, 7.2 yards per attempt. UAB quarterback situation is a concern. Blazers have defended well on the season. Play here will be UAB and FAU under 46.5. USC and Arizona college football pick. This one goes off on Saturday. USC hits their bye week at 6-1 after their 43-42 road defeat at Utah. Trojans a season high 556 yards, 175 rushing on 27 carries. Defensively, they allowed only 4 yards a carry on the ground and 424 yards passing on 45 attempts. Caleb Williams, 59% completions, 5 touchdowns, 9.1 yards per attempt. On the season, Williams' 64% completion rate, 19 touchdowns, a pick, 8.6 yards per attempt. Arizona, they fell to 3-4, a 49-39 road defeat at Washington. Wildcats posted 526 yards offensively, 126 rushing on 33 carries. Arizona limited the Huskies' ground attack but allowed 516 passing yards on 44 attempts. Jane DeLaura, a season high here, 73% completions, 4 touchdowns, 11.8 yards per attempt. In Pac-12 play, DeLaura, 65% completions, 13 touchdowns, 3 picks, 9.1 yards per attempt. Arizona against the Pac-12 are allowing 532 yards and 42 points a game, while they're gaining 523 yards and scoring 34. Last year, these teams combined for 75 points, and each offense improved this season. Play here, USC and Arizona over 76.5. Kentucky versus Tennessee college football pick Saturday. Kentucky improved to 5-2 after a 27-14 home win to Mississippi State. Wildcats gained 478 yards, 239 rushing on 48 carries. On defense, Kentucky stuffed the Bulldogs' ground attack and limited Mississippi State to just 203 passing yards on 37 attempts. Will Levis, 74% completions in the win, 2 touchdowns, 9.2 yards per attempt. This season, Levis, career highs here, 69.5% completion rate, 10 yards per attempt. Now, Tennessee 7-0 after a 65-24 home win to FCS Tennessee Martin. They produced 696 yards in the win. But that came after their 52-49 home win to Alabama. Hendon Hooker in the Alabama game completed 70% of his passes, 385 yards, 12.8 yards per attempt. Hooker had 5 touchdowns and 1 pick. Season to date, the Virginia Tech transfer, career highs, over 70% completion rate, 10.8 yards per attempt. Hooker has thrown 18 touchdowns, 1 pick. Wildcats defense has traveled, holding teams to just 339 yards, 45% completions, 5.6 yards per attempt. Levis in good form. Play here at Kentucky at +12. Arizona State versus Colorado college football pick Saturday. ASU moved to 2-5 after their 15-14 road defeat at Stanford. Sun Devils gained 355 yards in that one, 128 rushing on 34 carries. Defensively, they limited the Cardinals to 3 yards per rush and allowed 320 passing yards on 58 attempts. Florida transfer Emory Jones, 56% completion rate with 9.1 yards per attempt. In Pac-12 play here, Jones, 64% completions, 3 touchdowns, 4 picks, 7.7 yards per attempt. Colorado 1-6 after that 42-9 road defeat at Oregon State. Buffalo's gained 290 yards in that one, 84 rushing on 28 attempts. Defensively, Colorado is giving up over 6 yards per carry, 202 yards passing on 22 attempts. Starting quarterback Owen McCown has been limited in practice and a game-time decision. Their top 2 running backs out. Backup JT Shrout completed 45% with 2 picks and 7.1 yards per attempt in his time there this season. The play here this season, by the way, Shrout 45% completions, 5.3 yards per attempt. Buffs have allowed 41 or greater points in 5 of 6. Sun Devils on the road giving up 449 yards with 312 yards passing on 7 yards per attempt. Play here will be Arizona State and Colorado over 46.5. All right, that was our college football pick show here for Friday. We got you the 2 Friday games with 7 there from Saturday's totals here at 9 for today. Tomorrow's card, we'll give you 9 picks, the remainder of the card here for college football week 9. So we got through them, most of them now. So make sure you check us out here and like and subscribe and set notifications. Visit Tony'sPicks.com here for our best bets over there. And of course, our podcast here, Tony's Picks, every pick in podcast format. So check us out, Tony's Picks Podcast. Give us those 5-star ratings. We greatly appreciate it. All right, that's going to do it. More picks later this afternoon on Game Day Picks.